Hey, thank you for tuning in the Inquisitive Minds podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Johnny Smith. I want to say I apologize about the delay, guys. It's been a rough week as far as family goes. On December 29th, my aunt, who was like a mother to me, passed away from COVID. I just want to say she was a big supporter of the show, and she was my first fan. Rest in peace, Nan.
All right, rest
Today,
in peace,
though,
man.
we're back. We're back with the show, and my guest today is the owner of DeLay Ink and Piercing, I believe it's called. Josh DeLay, welcome to the
Yeah,
program. How you doing?
good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, I love it, man, because I've gotten some tattoo work from you, and
All right.
talking to you, you have a hell of a fascinating story. It's not your typical how did you get here, point A to point B. Do you want to tell us about a little bit how you grew up and who you are as a person before we jump into the mix?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Beaver Falls, decent neighborhood, an old steel town. I mean, most people probably know, I'm sure. But just normal life, like good life. Parents was good. As a child, my parents owned Fox's Pizza in New Brighton, local pizza shop. Till I think when I was 18, they winded up getting rid of it. After 9/11 happened, business went down. Nobody was ordering food, so they winded up just selling the building, getting rid of it, whatever. Um, I never got in no trouble in like as a child or nothing. Then when I was right as I turned 18, I had a couple people over. We were drinking. One thing led to another. The cops got called. I wound up getting. I was 18. Everyone else was 16 or 17, so I was the only one over 18. So I got charged with corruption of minors. I
Mm.
winded up going to jail. First time ever been in trouble. Like 3.5 student. Like I did good. Like I don't know. Anyway, so I take me, I go to jail. I sat for I think 19 days in the county jail over there. Did that, came home, winded up actually being able to graduate. I was nervous because I was there. We had a senior project, and I don't know if you still have to do those now, but back then it was like
Yeah, I'm not
you
sure.
had to do it. Right? Yeah, it wasn't an option. You had to have it, or you couldn't graduate. So luckily, I was able to get out and get that done. Graduated 2002. I was with this girl all through high school. We broke up, and my mind was just I don't know. It hit me hard. So I started messing around with pills here and there. I was going to CCBC at the time, and one thing led to another. Same old routine. Pills lead to this leads to that. Next thing I know, I'm on drugs, and I didn't realize I was on drugs, man.
Mm.
Like I had
Yeah.
done like little minor things, smoking weed and stuff like that, but nothing harder than that. Maybe a Percocet or some once in a blue moon. But next thing I know, I was doing these pills, and I wasn't asking what they were. All I knew is they made me feel better. I was doing them probably a couple weeks, maybe a month. So I called to get a couple more. They said they didn't have them. They said, but we can get you these stamp. They said I can get you a stamp bag. It's basically the same thing. It's just the pills already crushed up for you. So I'm like, oh, all right, make it easier.
Oh, okay. So
So
that was your transition. Okay.
yeah, just like that, man. Before I knew it, so I got that. I did them for a couple weeks. Never. I mean, I don't know if I subliminally knew or I didn't care. I was just so fucked up in my head because I was so depressed that I just went for it. But next thing I know, I couldn't get them. It's like 2 weeks later, and I'm calling her. I'm like, what? Like, can I get them? She said, well, I said, what is it? And next thing I know, I'm on heroin. Had no idea I was doing heroin. Started with the pills, and I got the stamp bags. And they said stamp bags. They didn't say nothing about no heroin, nothing. She said it was like a pill crushed up. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
And
explain.
then once you're on it, you're hooked.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fully, it's not an option. It's not something where you just say, "I'm not going to do this." You're on it. Like if you're not, you're going to be sick weeks, months. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's different, but it's bad. So, like, just not doing it wasn't an option to me. I'm already depressed with the old girl, and now I'm on this. Like, it just, I don't know, and it just spiraled fast, fast, fast. So after that, so I'm 18, graduated high school, no real plan. I got these charged. They put me on. I don't know if you heard of it. It's ARD probation. It's like
Yeah.
if
I'm familiar
you
with it.
complete, okay, so you complete the probation, then your charges get wiped away. Now I've never been in trouble not one time a day in my life before this. So I don't know nothing about probation, nothing about the courts. So they gave me a year on ARD, and then my everything would get wiped out. So I do the year. I go over there every week, or every month, do the drug test, meet with the lady, this and that. So on my 12th month, I go over, I meet with her. She said, this will be the last time you got to come in. After this, you'll be done. You completed it, and your record will be wiped clean. So I'm like, oh, cool, bet. So I do that. I leave. Don't hear nothing from her. I just assume I'm done. She said it's last time I had to come in, and this is that. Well, like a year and a half later, we're at a bar, and there's like a little fight. The cops come, and they run my name, and here I got a warrant. Say arrest me,
Oh,
take me over to county jail. I go and I meet with the lady. They violated my ARD because I never came in to sign the papers to close the probation out.
oh, that's
So here
whack,
I
man.
am.
That's like
Yeah, bro. I had no idea. Like
that's
no
red
bullshit.
tape.
I had no clue. So they violate my probation. They give me 2 years probation, put me back on there. So now I'm on real probation, whereas like my record's never gonna be wiped clean. This fucking corruption minor is gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. It's on my record. Like no matter what, it's never
Mhm.
coming off. Like when you do the background check, even for like my kid's school, like they run it, it shows up, so I can't even volunteer. Like I
Yeah, and
despise
they
the
don't
system
give
for that. Like
details on charges. They just see corruption of
no,
minors.
not
They
at
don't see
all.
what the fuck happened. They didn't see that the
Yes,
minors were
absolutely.
17 and you were 18. It looks
Yes,
creepy.
bro.
Like, no offense to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do. It's. I don't have a lot of regrets. Like I had a great. I had fun. Like I don't regret none of the shit I did, none of the shit I've been through. But I regret the fact that I can't go to my fucking daughter's school, my son's school, and go help out. Like that's the only. Honest to God, it's probably the only regret I have because that's always going to show up. Like there's nothing I can do. It's been, Chris. This was in 2001, and it still
Yeah.
comes up. They say my record's exempt, everything's wiped off. I've been 16 years without a criminal charge. Nothing should show up, but it does. So
Yeah, no, I've gotten some trouble myself because I have a criminal record, but I also have the Johnny Smith. So
right,
everybody in the goddamn world, there's like millions of criminal records for Johnny Smith out there.
right,
So every now and then I'd come up and be like, "Hey, what the fuck is this?" And I'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, same name, wrong guy."
right. Oh shit, I never even thought about that because that's very common. There's
Yeah,
another John Smith actually in Beaver Falls.
my wife looked up a doc sheet for me years ago, and it was riddled with all type of crazy charges. And I was like, "Babe,
Yeah,
I assure you, if I would have did half of this, I would have never been free. Like, what the fuck?"
right. Oh wow, yeah, that's bad news
So,
bears.
so you got yourself, you're in a bad place. You're on heroin. They
Right.
violated you, or you're not on heroin. You're clean because you were doing the ARD. They violated you at the bar fight.
Yep. Well, not for the no, like not even for the bar fight. I didn't get charged or nothing. I was just there. They came in and they ran everyone. You know how they do. They come in there, run
Yeah,
everyone's name that's in the vicinity. And when it came up, I popped for a warrant. So it was not what it was a
that's
bench
even
warrant.
worse.
So, yeah, right, absolutely. Oh, I was sick, man. No clue. Like just out of the blue. I legit thought I was done. I still lived at the same address. No one came looking for me. It's like a year, maybe a year and a half later. I can't remember exactly. So if I abscond from probation or parole, why aren't y'all coming and get me? You know where I live. You have my address. Like I don't know. I still to this day, it's shady at ARD. I thought my lawyer made it sound like it was sweet. Do this and it'll be gone, like it never happened. And I
I don't. I
did
mean,
it.
I
I
don't got
did
to tell you. The,
right.
the system is corrupted for us to go back in. The first
Oh
time I
yeah,
got
absolutely.
arrested,
That's how
I
it's
didn't get
built.
off or out of trouble for 11 goddamn years.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
hard.
it's it's made as a revolving door.
Yeah, it's money. It's the biggest industry in this world almost. It runs
Absolutely.
America. Like the jail system. It's a joke.
So so what did you get as far as that violation today? Give you some time for that?
Okay, so no, so you have to have in Beaver County, whenever you have a probation violation, you got to have APO hearing. It's just like you go in front of the probation board and they say whatever they're going to do with you. So I go in front of them, they revoke my ARD and they reinstated me with regular probation. They gave me a 2 year probation after that. So
Oh, that's
they let
ridiculous.
yeah, so 1 year on this forgivable probation, and now you're putting me on adult like real probation, whereas it's now I got to jump to your hoops. Which at this
Hmm.
point, I was mad. I just said, "Fuck it." They put me on once they let me out. Catch me when you can. Like I'm not gonna play your games now. I played your game for a year, and what did they get me? So I started
Yeah.
at that point. Like I had already been in jail. Like I wasn't afraid of going to jail now. And like I said, whenever this all went out, it all happened so fast. Like with me breaking up with a little girl, and just my mental mindset at that time, it was fuck it. Like I was just gonna do whatever I did. So so I have that hearing. I get out. I come home. I I'm still living in Beaver Falls at the time. I started dabbling, selling a little bit of weed here. Like I started selling weed. That went on for a little while. Within I'd say 2.5, 3 months, I went from an ounce to a pound. From a pound to selling a little bit of coke. From the coke, within another month, I'm selling heroin. Now, um, I'm well because I'm selling the coke and I'm selling the weed. And this is when I'm doing these pills and then I'm the pills into the powder and what it turns out to be heroin. So I'm doing that. So I meet this dude and I don't know, we start hanging out. He says he has to plug in Pittsburgh on the dope, that I can make a lot of money selling it. So I swear to you, no matter, it seems like it might be a little longer. It seems like 3 months I went from just selling a couple dime bags of weed to selling heroin. And so
It
that's just
happened
what it
quick.
was. Yeah, it does. It really does. And then you get this like local celebrity almost like this feeling when you're on top, like you feel like you're the biggest thing walking. So I mean, you just the weed. Oh, I felt cool. I felt cool. I was selling weed. Oh, now if I sell coke, I'm gonna feel even cooler. Oh, now I'm selling coke, heroin, and crack. Now I'm the man. Like and just like
Yeah,
that. That's just how it went.
I spoke with a few different dealers that I happen to be friends with throughout the years and whatnot. And once they start
Right.
opening up, they talk about like the dual addiction. Like, yeah, the
Yes.
guy buying the heroin is addicted, but the guy selling it is getting that same high. It's like he said,
Oh yeah.
I would drive 45 minutes just for to sell a $7 bag just because I was the fucking man around there.
Right. Yeah. You feed off of it. Like it legit every time, like throughout this time, the time that I did do the drugs, every relapse never started me getting high. The relapse started
Hmm.
as though my pockets are empty. I'm gonna get this pack and I'll get back on. Like I'm not gonna do no drugs, but I'm gonna get back on, get this money. And that's how it always began. Like in my mindset, it was never, oh, let me go get some dope and get high. It was let me get some money. And then the money,
Yeah.
a couple of days go by, I'm getting money, then you have a bad day. It's oh, this dope's already here. I might as well just do it. And then back like that, you're just right back at it. And that's
Yeah.
how I
So
never
that
relapsed getting high. Like,
did that lead you to another prison sentence? I take it.
yeah, so I came home after that and I got my first car. I rent people's car. Because my plug was in my person was in the city, so I rent people's car. I go up there, I get my dope in the morning. I usually go up and get two bricks at the low point, and then I come back and I sell them here. Up there, I'm paying at the time like 450 a brick. That's 50 bags, and I'm coming back here and making 1,000 off it clean every time. So usually I go to the city, come back, I'd sell them all day. Next morning, go back, and that's just how it was. So this went on for a while. I got up to I think I was selling like 5 bricks a day, but so I rent this lady's car in New Brighton. I go to the city. So what I do, I go to her house. I give her 3 bags. I get her car, then I can bring the car back at the end of the night. I give her probably usually about a bundle for the whole day. So I get her car in the morning, go to the city. The end of the night, after I'm done hitting all my licks and everything, I'm ready to go back home. It's the end of the night. I'll call her and I'll say I'll be over and I'll come grab her and she'll drive me back home. So I call her, I tell her I'm coming through. I get over there. She comes out. I get in the passenger seat. I have a gun on me. I think I had like 2 bricks left at the 5. I have in my pocket. So I get in the passenger side seat. She gets in the driver's seat. We bend the corner. We go on Penn Avenue, New Brighton. I noticed there's a cop sitting right on the side. And like I peeped him, but it wasn't like I really paid too much mind. We kept it moving. So we're going down towards like Fifth Street Deli to go down over the hill to the bridge. And I noticed another cop sitting at the intersection. So now I'm like starting to get nervous. So I started
Hmm.
grabbing my stuff. I grabbed my gun, I wiped it, and I threw it under the seat. I got the dope, and inside of my pants, like on my waistband, I had a cut. I just started taking the bundles and wrapping them around my waist because I seen
Hmm.
2 cops in it. Like we made the second cop. I made eye contact, and at that point, I knew what it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
You
go
felt
down
it
the
in the
hill.
air.
Yes, bro. I swear to God, I did. So we get to the bottom of the hill and coming up from where Speedway, I don't know where Speedway is now. They're coming up, and they hit the lights. Fuck, so we pull over. I put my hands up on the thing, and they come up. They run immediately. So they come to her car and they ask for driver's license registration. She said, "What's the problem?" And they say, "Oh, your inspection's bad or something." Or yeah, your inspection's bad, and you have a tail light out. But I know what it was. I seen the cop around the corner from her house. I already know. So I'm sitting there. They ask my name. I tell them, which they knew. I mean, they knew what it was. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
take her
Yeah.
name. They come back. They asked me if I had a problem being searched. I said no. I said yes. I don't want to be searched. And so they asked her. They say it's your car. Do you have a problem if we search the car? So she says yes, of course. So they pull me out. They say they're going to handcuff me for their safety. They handcuff me. They have her stand inside of the car. Start going to the car. I'm within. I don't know, a minute they found the gun. They come out and they look like they fucking won $1 million. I'm like jumping up and down. So that's when they throw me hand, like double secure me, put me back in the cop car, or they try and they search me, don't find shit. Now I have 2 bricks of dope around my in my waistband, and around my neck I used to wear. It's like a little pill thing. You can carry pills on your keychain. So I used to wear that on a
Okay.
necklace, and I tucked inside of my hoodie with I think I had like 10 XC pills and a couple Suboxones, and so that's around my neck. They don't find that. They don't find the dope. They put me in the car. They arrest me for the gun. So they take me to the police station, and they interview me. They ask me about the gun. I'm denying the gun. It ain't my gun. I ain't never seen it before. Blah blah blah. So they're playing good cop, bad cop. Oh, we understand you're a white boy going to Pittsburgh to get heroin. If we were doing that, we'd want a gun too. Blah blah blah. Whatever. So I'm just denying the gun at all. I swear to God, bro, funny as hell. Like the one cop's like,
That's great.
it's legit. Like it's on TV, like bad cop, good cop, bad cop. Like the one cop being tough, the other dude's like, calm down. If you were going to Pittsburgh grabbing dope, you'd want a gun too. You're just a white kid in Pittsburgh, bro. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, bro. I swear to God, they tried so hard, bro. Because if they'd
Cut
have
him a
got me with the
break. He
gun,
doesn't know what he's doing.
yeah, swear, bro, not at all. And if they'd have caught me with the gun and the dope, it'd have been a whole different situation. Because then I'm looking at mandatory time just off the rip.
Mhm.
So it works out where the plan with the gun, if I ever got caught, worked out. The guy who owned it came, claimed the gun, so they couldn't charge me with the gun. So at this point, they pull the lady, they pull her in, they interview her, they have me back in the booking cell again. So I'm in there. So I'm thinking, shit, sweet. They ain't found the dope. They ain't found the necklace. They're gonna have to let me go. Like I'm thinking I'm about to be clean. So now I'm starting to get a little confident, a little cocky. But so they take Nancy. So she's been there for like 2 fucking minutes. They come back out. They're like, DeLay, stand up and drop your pants. I'm like, what do you mean? They said, pull your pants down. We think we see a bulge around your waist. So pull my pants, and they come over and because she seen me hiding it. Like it took me a minute because each bundle in a brick there's 5 bundles. So I had 10 different bundles and I'm shoving them in this little hole. So she seen me doing it. So they got her for 2 minutes and she told them where it was at.
Wow.
So they pull it out and they just like rip the edge of like because it was like sweatpants and the string that goes through. They like took a knife and they just cut it and they just start falling out because the bundles like the bags like wrapped in rubber bands. So when I was pushing them, they came out of the rubber bands. They're in there loose and they're all over the floor. So they were excited. So they got me.
It's like
They got me with the
like
dope.
heroin confetti.
Right. I swear it was. I can still remember it being in my shoe and everything. Like so, they get me for that, and that was my first real. I got possession with intent. I got charged with the firearm, but like I said, I beat the firearm. I got that. They gave me an 11 and a half to 23 months in the county. So I do my 11 months there. I think I wound up getting out. I want to say I got out a good time after like 10 months. So I come
Okay.
home and I'm right back at it. The plan never wavered. Like I knew it. I had no plans of coming home and changing my life. I wasn't scared straight yet. I was coming home and I was hitting the ground running. There was already a pack waiting for me. Like it was back at it like usual business. So
Yeah.
I come home and I'm going. And at this point, like I'm not like a full blown fiend yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting up. I'm doing multiple bundles a day. Well,
So you're are you, at this point, are you selling to like maintain a habit, or it hadn't got that far yet?
no, it didn't get that good for you. I mean, I was maintaining my habit, of course, but I was still making money at the end of the day. Not if I sold
Okay.
2 bricks in a day, usually it would if it was straight cash, I make $2,000 off of 2 bricks. But at this point, I'm probably doing probably 3 bundles. I'm probably selling 7, so I'm probably making probably 250 to like 500 a day profit. I'm probably making at the time. Like I'm stacking money. I'm doing good. Um, but I never at this point I still had never shot in dope. Like if you shot dope, you was a junkie to me. You was a fiend. I wouldn't even if you shot dope, I wouldn't even serve you. You had to come with someone that was actually snorting dope. In my mind, that was better.
I
But
want to stop you for a second because I
ah,
have an upcoming interview with a guy who was dealt with addiction his whole life, and part of it, there's similar parts of this. A lot of times, he would start selling drugs, maintain a habit, and it didn't start out like that. And you touched on a very interesting thing. For many years, he just snorted his heroin, and
yo,
he would have this mindset that like if you shot, I was somehow level above you. You know what I mean? Like it's a
yes,
weird
yeah,
justification to make, but I've heard it from
right.
many people and I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's the same thing like crackheads and junkies, like people that do heroin and people that smoke crack. Like if you do heroin, you think crackheads are scum of the earth. If you
Yeah.
do crack, you're like them fucking junkies are nuts, man. Like And it's wild how that, like, the addict's mindset. It's just the way you
Bro,
justify things,
I
I guess.
I, I have been with people nodding out that have woken up for a second just to say, "Look at this motherfucking crackhead," and then nodded
Right?
back
Yeah,
out. Like,
that's real legit what it is, and it's wild. Like, it's so fucked up. Like, I don't know how it's, and it's not just like heroin. It's you really justify it. Or there's the person at the fucking raves doing Molly and popping acid. Like, wow, that person's brain's probably gone. Meanwhile, your fucking brain ain't even telling
yeah,
your heart to pump blood no more. Like,
yeah.
it's fucked up. I swear, bro. Shit's crazy. But yeah,
No,
I
but
don't know.
that's
It's
normal.
wild.
You know, you come out. A lot of people that come out, and I guess the word "scared straight" is right. If you're not scared straight or enlightened at all, you know, you're going to do the same things because it getting a job and starting your own business, which we'll talk on more later on,
Right.
is difficult. You know, but with
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's fast money. It's quick as shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the security of knowing that I can make $3,000 today, go to the casino, blow it, and make the same 3,000 tomorrow. Like, and it's just, yeah. And still to this day, bro, here we are, fucking 20 years later, and I still can't. My mind, it's I have horrible money issues. Like, I have no. It's not that I don't value a dollar because I have kids and I know the struggle, so I do value money. But I feel like if there's money in my pocket, I don't need to save it because I know there's more coming tomorrow, and I can't escape as much as I've tried. Like, I've legit tried. I can't get past that. Like, my mind is so set in my ways. I don't know. I just blow it. Like, because I know there's
I
more
mean,
coming tomorrow. Like,
I this is going to sound weird. I don't know necessarily what you spend all your money on, but like what I've seen at the shop, and like you had this dope ass bracelet on the other day that was
uh,
like a gold handcuff, but just one single
yeah,
handcuff. So it's like, you know what, dude? You're grinding. You're out here as long as you're taking care of your family. If you want to spend some money, fuck it.
right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, my kids, they need for nothing. My wife don't want her need for nothing. Like, we're good, but it's the nest egg you're supposed to be putting up, like my future. Because I mean, I'm a bit like my situation. There's no retirement. There's no 401k. There's none of that. So I need to like really get down and grind mode and start putting this money up for the future for my kids to go to college. Like, I need to get like get on my grown man shit and start really putting money up.
Right on. So you're out here. You said you're using what, 3 bundles a day? Is that what you said?
Yeah, at that point, because I'm snoring like no, well, no, that's not because when I'm snoring, I'm not doing that much. I might be doing 2 bundles a day at this time.
Okay.
So I'm snorting dope. Well, I don't know if you were in the scene, but there was a time where heroin. There was these bags in the city. They were called "Get High or Die Trying," and they were
Yes,
like
I
killer
remember
dope.
those.
Yes.
They were a little
So
red bag, red stamp.
yeah, yep. Yeah, so listen, so I don't know if you remember, whenever this happened, like the city dried up, like they were on it. There was like 15 overdoses in one day when they first hit. So usually in the city there was Task Force Tuesdays, Task Force Thursdays. Those are the 2 days when shit was hot, where the cops were out and they were really on your ass. Other than that, like I mean, there'd be the jump out boys and shit, but they were really Tuesdays and Thursdays. That was Task Force Day in the city. So it became every day was Task Force Day in the city. The shit was on the news. They were talking about it, like it was mainstream news. People were dying every couple minutes. Someone was going to the hospital overdosing. So shit got hot in the city. Like nobody was. I had probably 5, 6 plugs at this time. That if one person wasn't good, I could go through, and no one had no work. Like you couldn't get open the city. Like there was people in Philly where I could, if I wanted to, I can go. But I was doing a day. I was getting high, so I wasn't going with $10,000 and buying dope for a whole week to serve. I was going daily, and I was getting just for the day's trap. So
Mm-hmm.
going to Philly wasn't an option for me. You know what I mean? So I'm calling all these plugs. Well, finally, one of these bottom rung dudes I had in my phone from a long time ago answers, and he's like, "Yo, I'm good. I got these Colt 45s." He was like, "Come through." He was like, "It's the only thing in the city right now." So I go up, and I couldn't get nothing, so I wanted to buy like more than usual. So I bought 15 bricks. It's called a rod. 10 bricks is a rod. So I bought a rod and a half off this dude, and I get home. And now I'm starting to get sick because this is probably 1:30 and I ain't had no work. Usually I save something for in the morning, but I don't know what happened. I stayed up late or something. I don't know, but I didn't have no wake up for myself. So at this point, I'm sick. So we get home and I cracked because as soon as I get to work, I don't let no one get high in the car. Like I don't do nothing hot shit. It goes straight in the trunk and So it's in. I get to work. I put it in the trunk. I never see it after that. We get home, come in the house, and I crack the brick open, and the dope's wet. It's all moist. Every one of the bricks, like the dope. Usually, you open a bag, it's like powder. It comes out like in little. If it's good, it'll be in like patty, like pancakes, like. So it
Hmm.
comes out, and it's all one big like bulge of just wet, like brown, almost like chewing gum, almost. So there's no
Oh,
way to, and I snorted this time. There's no way to snort it. Like, so I'm rolling this shit up into like little balls and I'm shoving it in my nose, trying to get it to go down my throat. So I think I did like 3 bundles like that, bro. I swear to God, like I'm making little BBs and just throwing them down my neck, eating them. Nothing's getting me off sick. So I called this dude that I knew. I swear, like, no, it didn't, it was doing nothing. Like, I'm sure it's a
I,
combination of like garbage dope and the water in the dope caused it, but I don't know.
I love the ingenuity though. I was just balling it up, throwing it on my nose. I
I
don't know
swear
what.
to you, listen. I tried blow drying and shit. Nothing. It was just like straight, almost like tar heroin, almost like that, but not good. Not a good
Okay.
tar heroin. It was just trash. So I called this dude up and I'm like, look, I was like, I ain't never shot up. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I was like, if you come over here, I got a couple bundles for you. If you come show me what to do, because I'm sick and this shit ain't getting me off by putting it down my nose. So he comes over and so he winds up shooting me up. I was there. I had did it in my foot. And it was trash. Like I didn't get what the hype was about. These motherfuckers are dying over this shit every day. Like I don't know. It wasn't. I mean, it got me off sick though. It got me, but I wasn't high. Like there was no nod. I was just okay. So I didn't understand why they loved it so much at this point. So at the end of the day, my plug wound up calling saying I'm back on, blah blah blah. So I get it. So I showed up that time. So that went good for like 3 months. Like it was back to regular dope, just business as
Now,
usual.
now, did you ever start getting that high from the needle like that? It's described as me as like a rush.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm about to get into. So after I did it that one time, never showed up again for 3 months. Well, then my plug calls and he's like, "DeLay, I got them bags that are killing people." He was like, "They're them get highs." He said, "I got them." He said, "I'm back on." He said, "We're relabeling them. We're gonna stamp them with Dynasty stamps." He said, "But it's the same dope if you want to come through." Now people were paying $40 a bag if you can get those bags at the time, so I'm on it. So I get him. So we're riding home, and dude that shot me that day, he was like, "I'm telling you, if you're ever gonna shoot up again, it's the time to do it. This shit's amazing."
You
So
know, that's
I
the
don't know.
thing that gets me real quick because I
Mm,
remember that time period specifically. I remember riding with a friend of mine who was a heroin addict, and he picked
right.
up some of those bags, and he was real excited, and he was like, "Just stay with me so I don't die." Like those are killing
Right.
people, and people who were on heroin immediately thought, "Oh shit, that's what I need."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm telling you, like, I couldn't get enough. Like, if you were buying less than a bundle, I was charging $50 a fucking bag out here, and people were on
Woo!
it. Like, I couldn't keep them. Like, it was everybody. If a bag has a body on it, people want it. That's just not the way it is.
And
Like,
just
people were
for
even like,
reference for the listeners, a regular bag of heroin goes for like $5 to $10.
yeah. No, well, back then they were good. Back then, if you weren't buying a brick or if you were buying a bundle, I might give you one for 175 back then. That's 10 bags. But if you were buying one, two, a couple bags, I was charging 20 a bag. But I was
20
able to charge
and
50
50
for
for
the
the other stuff.
yes.
Woo! That's a
And they were on
that's
it.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Now I was paying a little more. I was paying like 600 a brick for them, but as usually I was paying 450. But it was the money was insane, man. It was nice. So anyway, so we get home and he taught me into it and I was like focusing. So I did it and that was that awe moment. Like that's whenever I realized what the fuck it was really about. Like when it was just I can't explain it. Like the euphoria of it, it was just I was on top of the world. There wasn't nothing could have bothered me. You could have walked in and shot me in my fucking foot and I'd have said, do another foot. Like
Yeah.
it was the shit that they talk about in movies. Like it really was. So I was hooked.
Okay.
After that, it was off to the races. I ain't never put nothing on my nose since then. Like, so then that's when it gets, of course, that's when it gets bad because that's whenever you get to doing numbers. So within, I'd say probably from 2 to 3 months, I went from doing a couple bundles a day to finding myself shooting 2 bricks of dope a day. I got up and I shot a bundle
Woo!
just
That's
off
quite a
rip.
bit.
Yeah, it was bad, man. Like it was a monster. And now it was everything like it was a combination of everything. It was the girl I was with, it was the money I was making, it was my situation in life. I didn't succeed. Like I had plans, like I wanted to do shit. Like none of that is panned out. Here I am, I'm a fucking a 2-time felon at the time, ain't got shit going for me. Like all my family don't want to fuck with me. The only person that who's not my like my mother's opinion mattered to me, of course, but the main person in my life
Hmm.
that mattered the most, like my best friend, was my grandfather. Like his opinion was like him and God could be standing beside each other, and I valued his more. So like he didn't want nothing to do. Like
Okay.
my first case, like I was actually living at my grandparents' house at the time, and I just remember that night whenever when that lady set me up my ride. Us being in the cop car, and I'm begging the back of the car, please don't notify the newspaper. I can't have my grandfather see this in the newspaper. Please don't. And like somehow through some twist of fate, because they were assholes, so I can't see them doing me a favor. Like they were so mad, they wanted me to admit to that gun so much, like they were being cool dickheads. But somehow it didn't make it in the newspaper, and like this is during the fucking mugshot Monday times and everything, and it didn't make it in by the fucking graces of God. Like because I mean, my pap knew what happened, of course, and my mom told him like I'm in jail, but I a lot of people knew him, me through him, so like like we went hunting, like he was my best friend, I was with him all the time. So people in New Brighton knew him. So if it made, I didn't want that to happen. Like, so anyway, so my pap ain't really, at this point, I'm on drugs, I'm selling drugs. My pap knows what it is. He's not slow. Like, he sees what's going on. So he ain't messing with me. Like, none of my family are really messing with me at the point. So, like, I'm just not in a good place mentally at all whatsoever. So it just spiraled out of control. So I'm just at this point, I'm turning into a full blown junkie. From going to making fucking $1,000, $2,000 a day down to just breaking even, barely having enough to get another brick the next day. Like that's how fast it
Yeah.
went.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, it
So
happened. It did.
I want to stop right there for a second because this is a good time to let the people know that today's podcast is sponsored by Tenacious Detail, your mobile detailing solutions. Get your car detailed in the comfort of your home or office. Call today, 724 serving the Pittsburgh area and surrounding up to a 3 hour radius.
Right,
All right.
especially right now
Back
during
to you,
COVID.
Josh. Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah. So
So, okay.
good.
No. I'm just saying you're on this. Your grandpa knows what's going on. You're not in a good place.
Right.
Um, where does this lead you? I take it down another dark road.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So I mean, we're getting high. Like I'm getting high. Like it's not no longer, it's not recreational. It's not just getting by. Like I'm getting high. Like I'm waking up sick. I'm going to bed being nervous about being sick the next day. Like what if this don't happen? What if this don't pan out? Like I'm not a drug. Like now I'm to that point where you asked about, are you getting high are you selling just to get high? And at this point, that's what I'm at.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
so I'm living at this point. I'm living in Monaca with a friend of this guy I knew, Devin. Like, and we're staying there, and we're all getting high. And so I came up with someone robbed their boyfriend for a bunch of coke. I wound up trading some dope for a bunch of coke. So we have a bunch of I have like 9 ounces of coke and some dope. So it's a good week. Like I'm having a good week. Like I'm ahead of the game right now. So it's me, my friend Dev, these two girls, and maybe one of oh yeah, and my other friend Anthony. And we're all at the house getting high. And we're like, we're sitting around his house getting high. And he's like, he was a little artistic. And I remember he's over there drawing on like drawing pictures and stuff. And he was like, DeLay, what do you want me to draw? And I was with this girl named oh yeah, I was with this girl Lindsay, who was my personal devil for a long time. We'll get back to that. Anyway, so I was like, right, Lindsay. So he drew her name, he's drawing other stuff. And then he asked my boy Anthony, and he was like, what should I write? And then he was like, write nigga kill yourself. So that's what he told me to draw. So Devin's over here for like an hour writing this big, like nice, like script font of nigga kill yourself. Like he's writing it on this paper. And so I don't know, he's all depressed. His girl broke up with him. She took the kids. He won't let her see the twins. He's like, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm not feeling good. I'm like, all right, Dev, go ahead. So he goes upstairs. So we're downstairs, and he's like yelling. He's like, bring me a square, bring me a square. And Lindsay, I don't smoke, so my girl Lindsay, she went upstairs to take him, and she yells down. She's like, his door's shut. Come up here, because she didn't want to go in with. Oh, she knew, and she didn't want to go in the room with him without me being there. So I go up. We open the door, and it was like some shit you see on a movie. Dude, Dev's on the ground with his sitting Indian style. He has like 10 pictures of his kids lined up. and he's sitting there and he has like this frog dissection kit. Someone went to school, I guess, and I don't know. Somebody had a frog dissection kit. I can't explain it to you, but he
Okay.
has it all opened up. Yeah, swear, bro. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know. He went to college. Someone went to college. I'm just trapping out of his house at this time. Like, but so he has this, and he has this letter and this pencil, and he read this Brighton letter. He's like, DeLay, I don't even want to live no more, bro. I ain't got my girl, I ain't got my kids. I'm about to just off myself. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I said, man, the fuck up, Dad. He's like, no, for real. He said, I don't even want to live no more. So Lindsay takes me a cigarette. I'm like, yo, chill out, bro. I said, I said, you're high. I said, okay, you've been snorting coke for 2 days. Just go to sleep. He's like, no, I really want to die today. I'm like, Dad, just tell me you're not going to kill yourself, bro. Because I'm fucking blown out. I've been getting high for days as well. So I'm like, just tell me you ain't going to kill yourself. He says, I'll tell you that, DeLay, but I don't even want to live. I said, so you're not going to kill yourself, right? He was like, right, DeLay. I'm like, all right. So I closed the door, which was a cool piece of shit like thing for me to do. But at the time, I'm not myself. Like, I do have a big heart. I have a good heart. I swear I do. But I was fucking gone, bro. So close the door. We go downstairs. It's like I'd say probably 10 minutes later, and he's yelling again. So, what the fuck? So we go up and we open the door, and he slipped from right here clean up to past the foot of his arm
Oh,
on both arms. There's blood fucking everywhere. So I'm like, what the fuck?
damn.
So yeah, it was. This is like the movie type shit. It was. There was blood everywhere. I'll never, to this day, I will never get that in my mind. I did so many drugs, and my memory is shot. I can't remember shit. I'll never forget the sight of it. Like it was unreal. He's white as a ghost, and Dev was like a bulky, like muscle bound dude. And he looked, he's like not even like himself, like a ghost of himself. He's white. His lips are like turning blue. So I like run over and I like grab his arms and I tie his arms off with a shirt. And I run downstairs and fucked up thing. Like before I call 911, I'm worried about getting a dope. I got guns here. I got 9 ounces of coke. Like we had this glass table down on the coffee table, and I just dumped that. Like I thought I was fucking Scarface. I just dumped the coke on this big glass mirror. It's everywhere. It's like it's legit everywhere. So I run down. I get this duffel bag, and I'm just like dumping the coke in the bag. I get the guns. I put them in the duffel bag. And give it to Anthony. I'm like, bro, I said, go. We lived in Monaca by the little Habib station. So I'm like, Andy, go
Okay.
down. There's like a little park down there where the sewage plant is. I said, just go down there and sit. I said, take this down there. I said, I got to call 911. So we do that. He leaves. I call 911. So we're sitting there. Now, mind you, we've been getting high for days. Like it's been probably 3 days. So we look like drug addicts. There's no doubt in my mind. So we call 911. They come. They wind up getting dead. Thank God he lives. They take him to the ambulance. Um, so now at this point, I got all this code. They leave. So we get in the car, we get on me and Anthony, we left because like I said, it was his house. So we went over and got I paid for a month at James Motel. So now I'm over
Okay.
there, I'm trapping out of there. Just it was a bad time. So so we're traveling there. So a couple of days later we go to the city and it's me, Anthony, and Lindsay. Well, his passenger side window didn't work, so I'm in the back seat, me and Lindsay. So we go to the alley, I meet my dude, we come out and we're at a red light and ATF ran on us. They come out like
Hmm.
they had hard hats on. They're playing basketball. And they come running over and they get us. Apparently, my connect, one of the dude I was meeting, they robbed a gun store on the West End or something. They were watching them for that. They thought I was up there buying guns. So they get us and they search the car. They wind up finding the dope. They found the coke in the trunk. So I go to jail. I wind up bonding out. Um, I get out. I'm on bond. So like 2 months later, we go to the city. It's me and this my friend who passed away, Justin. We I was meeting my dude at the West End Overlook. So we're up there. I meet him. We come down the hill, and like I ID'd the Arizona iced tea containers, like three of them that they were like false. I put the dope in there. I just throw them in the back seat. I had like 10 Arizona iced tea containers back there, and three of them were fake. So I put all the dope in
Okay.
there. I throw it in the back seat. And as soon as I throw him in the back seat, Justin like takes his hat off and throws it down. He's like, "Fuck! Tell me you didn't just put the work back." I'm like, "Yeah. What do you mean?" He was like, "Fucking jump outs. The task force is behind us." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I look behind us and there's a fucking van. So as soon as I look
Oh
back,
shit.
they hit the lights. It lights up. They start chasing us. Now we're right by the West End Overlook, and I'm like, go to the bridge, get on the bridge. I mean, we're right by the West End Bridge. I'm like, go to the bridge and I'll throw him out. And he pulls over. Right, I
Oh.
can spit at the river. If he'd have made it there, I could have thrown it, but he didn't. So they pull us over. They asked if we have any drugs or anything. We asked why they pulled us over. They said we came from a high drug task force or high drug area. They knew what it was. We're white leaving the West End, like where we're at. There was not. They knew what it was. So They search the car. They don't find nothing initially. They pull me over. I won't admit to nothing. I said we're meeting girls. They pull Justin in the back. Next thing we know, we come back. They open the back. They pull out the iced tea containers. I'll never know if he told them. If he
Oh
did, he took them to his
man.
grave. But they didn't find him. Then they found him. So they open them. So they arrest us both. Um, he goes over. His people came and bought him out. I finally go hold of my sister, and I said, "There's always work at the house. Go." I said, "There's a bunch of work at the house. Go get it." I said, my bond's like 30,000. I only need 3,000. I said, whatever else you have, whatever it is, whatever. Just get me my 3,000. You can have the rest, Britt. So
Mhm.
she went and made moves for me, and she got me bonded out within like 12 hours. Because if they
Oh, that's
didn't,
what's up.
they'd have got me on a detainer. So
Mhm.
she heard and got me out. So this was in June of 2007. So back at it, just started working, just selling dope. July 23rd, there's this girl Stephanie she's actually passed away now too. Um, I call her, she comes and gets me. We go up to the city. I'm meeting my dude at it's Perrysville Park. It's called, there's like a horseshoe track. That's where I met him at. So I meet him, I grab the dope, and we go out. I think I bought 7 bricks. So we go down the hill and my phone rings. And now the person I met's not my plug, it's one of his runners. So my plug
Okay.
calls and he's like, DeLay. He was like, Ramon just served. He said, he sold you his last bricks. He said, there's some dudes from West Virginia trying to pay 500 a brick. Now at this point, I'm only paying 250 a brick. He said, if you want to serve them, they only want 3 bricks. He said, if you want to do it, they're up there if you want to get it, something like that. So I'll go back up the hill and I'll make $750 for going around the street. So of course I'm gonna do it. So I go up, we go around. As soon as we get around, like you go up the hill and you come back around like a valley, and we get there and I get out the car. I see the car. So I get out. I have the bricks in my hand like this, like I'm holding my hand, and I'm walking over to their car. And next thing I know, I see lights come around the bend. So I'm like, fuck. Now
Mm.
Stephanie had a drop top Sebring. It was like a 2007, 2008 or 2006 Sebring with it's a convertible. So I see the lights, so I
Okay.
turn around and I start walking back to my car and I throw the dope. And fucking bro, it bounces off a tree, lands in the fucking car.
Oh
So
Jesus, dude.
yeah, it was meant to happen. Like it saved my life. Like I thank God for it without a doubt. But anyway, so it lands in the car. So they come up, they run up on us, they tell us to get up against the car. They search us, they don't find nothing. I had like $1,000 in my pocket. So at this point, I mean, they knew what it was. Like they must have been watching him serve them. I don't know the whole situation. But so they search the car, they find the dope. It's in the back seat behind my seat. So they arrest
Mhm.
me and her both. They come over and they're like, whose dope is it? And I'm like, I don't know. Like everyone knew if we ever get caught, I'm not gonna own up to the dope. Like I paid people to drive me, they knew what it was sitting for. But Steph was a good girl. Like she was going to school to be a nurse. I mean, she got high, but she was a good girl. Like she wasn't in the streets. Like she had a future for real. And I don't
Yeah.
know. And I just bought a pit bull a couple days before. This is a puppy, Nevea. She was only, I think she was like 2 months old. But anyway, so we had the dog, and I don't know what it was. They came over and they was like, "You don't tell us the truth that it's your dope." We know. Like I had all these necklaces on, all this jewelry. Like they knew they knew who was the dope dealer and who wasn't. So like, if you don't own
Yeah.
up to this, we're gonna arrest you and her, and we're gonna take your dog, and your dog's gonna get put down because no one's gonna be able to take ownership for it. So like the combination of like I love it sounds ridiculous. I love animals, but the combination of the dog getting put down and her life being ruined, like she never been in trouble. I just owned up and admitted to it. So they
I mean,
wound
there's
up
honor
agreeing
in
to let
that.
her go. Yeah, like I did. Like I think I don't know. I was over it. Like the whole chase of everything. It was sickening to me. Like
Yeah,
I just
sometimes
that
it's just
earth.
time. It's just time to end.
Yeah,
Like it's time
right.
to get it over with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, once we went to court and shit anyway, they're going to look at her record, look at my record, and know what it is anyway. So I'm going to get the charge. Well, I fucked this girl's life up and get her fucked up in the game as well. So I just owned up to it. They wind up arresting me. Um, they take me to jail. I go in Allegheny. When you go in, like you're in the shoe, like down when you go to the shoe, that's like classification. But you sit downstairs in this room, it's like a room probably 25 by fucking 18 feet. And usually there's only supposed to be like 5 people in there, but this is Allegheny County and it's like right after 4th of July, like it's the middle of summer, so everyone's in jail. There was probably
I
fucking 50
I
people in these rooms.
I, I hate to say that I know that location fondly, but I do,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's like
awful.
fucking dirty sardines. Like everybody thinks like
Yeah,
bologna and s.
yes, because you're stuck down there, no showers, no nothing until you get upstairs. You're in your street clothes. You still have like all your like it's trash. You're stuck down there. Here I am coming off shooting a brick of dope a day at this time, like completely dope sick. Like I'm fucked up in the game higher now. The only thing that was blessed me is you're allowed to keep your money until you're going upstairs. So I have
Yeah.
some of my money on me, and someone came in on the third day and they had Suboxones. I bought a couple Suboxones off of them, and so it took the edge off a little bit. But I had sleep for like 18 days. I was hallucinating. Like I didn't know where I was at. Like I was out of my fucking mind. I remember like I think the fourth day, I went upstairs on the fifth day, but on the fourth day, I remember laying down and like there's no seats. There's so many people. I'm laying on the ground. I have a roll of toilet paper as my pillow, and I'm so sick, and I threw up, and bro, I laid in
Oh,
it. Like I didn't have the energy to
oh,
stand up. Like I'm laying on it, like it's all over my face. I'm just laying there, just sick, like too sick to get up and fucking do anything. And so eventually
I've
I laid
thought
there, and
about
eventually I went up. Yeah, it was
I've thought about the
horrible.
weird progression in your mind, like when you first go to ACJ. Like I remember the first time I went to ACJ, I was like, "Oh
Right,
man, I hope I get bailed out. I don't want to go upstairs. I'm terrified." The
right.
next time, I'm like, I get upstairs. I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. The last time I went to ACJ, I was like, I wish they would hurry up and fucking process me so I can get the fuck upstairs,
Oh
get this
yeah,
over with.
absolutely. It's purgatory being stuck down there in them rooms. Awful.
For days on ends, man.
Yes. Yeah, it's and you got people coming in like real homeless people that ain't had showers in months, and then you're stuck in this little fucking
Hmm.
room. It's bad. The smell alone to make a regular person throw up. Like it's horrible.
And then, no
Horrible.
disrespect to you, dude, but you got dudes being dope sick all over the
Yes.
place. You know, you got open toilets, like people just shitting because like their constipation is ended or what have you. Like it's just a
Right.
mess. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's no one should ever like. I don't understand how it's legal. Like it's so inhumane. Like
Hmm.
it's I don't know. I don't understand how it goes on the way it does. Like I really don't. I don't know if it's because there's no outside. Like I don't know. I don't get it. There's no way it should be legal at all whatsoever.
That's bro, because when we break the law, they look at us as less than human. You know, a lot of
Yeah,
people want
that's
our
true.
past felonies to define us. And more than anything, this episode is a story of redemption because
Yeah,
of all
absolutely.
this bad shit you're going through. I want to assure the people listening, there is a much brighter ending on the other side of this tunnel.
Absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. It definitely it comes so this is like the turning moment. This is what changed it all. Like it's I'm done. Like I sit there and I'm dope sick for all those days. Like every time I went to jail in the past, and there was multiple cases throughout the times that I didn't even talk about, but every time I went, like I got out planning to get high. I went in like the one time I turned myself in, I got high right before I walked in the door.
Hmm.
I every time I got out, I plan on get. I knew what it was. Like even when I wrote my family, they'd say, "You ready to change your life?" No, like I'm hitting the ground running. Like I don't want. This is what I want. This is my life. What do you mean am I changing it? This is my
Yeah,
life. Like I love this shit. Like
yeah.
no, I didn't sugarcoat it. I knew like I never bullshitted no one. Like I came. I like every time I got out, I had shit outside in the parking lot waiting for me. Like as soon as I get in the car, we're going. It's on the move. It's motion. So, but this time I knew. Like I'm sitting in there and I'm stuck. Like maybe the first couple months there was like hopes maybe I can come home and sell dope. So
Hmm.
my lawyer comes and meets with me. They got I had I had a case from June and a case from July now that I was on bond on. So I had multiple cases. He coming in and he's like, just sit it down. He was like, you sit it down until you go to trial or until you have your hearing and we can get you time served. He said, we're going to set your date for about 11 months out, 11, 12 months out. He was like, but whenever you go, if you sit down, you'll be able to get out. You should get time served. So I'm like, all right. So I just accept the fact I'm about to sit it down for a year. So when I finally go to trial, I go over for because I initially turned down my preliminary hearing. So when I go to trial, or when I go over for the pre-trial, it was a pre-trial service. I go over and he comes down. Mind you, he's telling me all this time he came to talk to me throughout the year. He's telling me I'm gonna go home once we go to court. So here we are. It's court day. I'm over there in the bullpen. And he comes down, they pull me over and I'm in a little conference room and he's like, DeLay, I fucked up. I'm like, what do you mean you fucked up? He
Oh
was like,
shit.
you have mandatory sentences. I'm like, what do you mean? Mandatory sentences? Like, what do you mean? He said, you have two mandatory 5 to 10s. He was like, because you've exceeded the scale because you've already had three possession with intents. This is you've had four. This is your fifth and your sixth possession with intent. There's mandatory sentences. He said, it's not something you could plea out. He said, they don't, the judge was, thank you for putting me in prison, Jill Rangos. but I was one of her first adult trials. She was a juvenile judge that
Hey,
moved up to.
hey, shout out to Rangos. She, three of my siblings are adopted, and my aunt adopted 12 children, and Judge Rangos was the judge that put the adoption through. So shout out to
Oh
her.
yeah. Oh wow, small world. Yeah, she like I
Yeah,
said, she saved my life, man. I thank God for it to this day. Like it was like it changed my life. So she gets me up on. So hey, listen, I'll get to that. Hold on. So he comes down and he says he fucked up. I have these two mandatory 5 to 10s. So it's a mandatory 10 to 20 is what he's telling me. When he said it, bro, my knees went weak. Like I felt like I was floating. Like I don't. It blew. I think I'm going home. Like everyone I talk to, they think I'm coming home, which wasn't many because when you're in there, out of sight, out of mind. But the couple people that did
yeah,
matter, like my little sister, and this girl, I told him I'm coming home, and here he comes in and he tells me I got a mandatory 10-year sentence. Like, what the fuck? How does fuck does this happen? How do you fuck up that
yeah,
bad? This is what you're paid to do. Like, so he tells me that. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to prison. You got me fucked up. We'll go to trial. Like, I'm no, absolutely not. I'm supposed to go home today. Like, figure something out. Go do your fucking job. So he's like,
yeah.
well, I'll go see what we can do. He goes up. I'm down to like another hour. They call me again. We come in, and he's like, look, he said the only thing they're gonna do is they'll they'll get if they'll waive the one mandatory, they'll give you 5 to 10, and then for the second one, they'll give you a plea of 2 to 4, so you'll get 7 to 9 years. I'm like, no, I'm not going to prison. Like, what the fuck part aren't you getting, bro? Like, I'm not. Like, I'm going home. Like, get me the fuck home today. Do your job. Like, what I paid you to
Yeah.
do. So he's like, DeLay, I'm telling you, you're not going home. He's like, you're going to prison. Like, it's mandatory. So he leaves out. They call me back. It's like 20 minutes. He calls me. I got down, and he said, look, he said they're not. He said they said they have suppression issues on one of the hearing on the one charge from June, but the July one you admitted guilt. There's no suppression. Like you're gotten. They said so. You take the
Hmm.
mandatory 5 to 10, or you take it to trial. And at trial, given my prior record score, if I was in California off rip, I'd have gotten 20 years because it's that three-striker outlaw. Thank God Pennsylvania doesn't have that.
Yeah.
But if anyone else, it would have been. I'd have been looking at 20 years.
Yeah. And if you took it to trial, they would have banged you over the goddamn head.
Oh yeah, knocked me in my head because I admitted to the dope. Like they have the
Hmm.
discovery packet where the cop said I admit, and I did. I admitted to it. There's nothing I can say about that. The only dog in the fight I had is their excuse for pulling me over. They said that initially in my prelim, they said there was a one of them trees hanging from the rearview mirror. But in my discovery packet, they wrote that there was a candle hanging from the mirror, so it obstructed the driver's
Ah.
view. So that was the only dog I had in the fight. But that's it. The judge can just say "fuck you." It don't matter. You had to do it. So that was like my only
Yeah.
chance. And that whenever they're telling me I'm going away for decades, like I'm like fuck it, let's have a suppression hearing. So when he comes down, he says that 5 to 10. He says there it's that. He said either we can have a suppression hearing and try and have the charges dismissed, or you're gonna have to go to trial. And I said, well, fuck it, let's have a suppression hearing. And I don't know if people don't know a
Mhm.
suppression hearing, that's whenever you go in front of the judge and you argue like there was no reason for like in my situation, there was no reason to pull me over because like to get the evidence suppressed. So the cop wrote in the thing that I had a candle, but on in my prelim he said that there was a tree. So that's like an issue where it's if he can't be believed that there was a candle and not a tree, or a tree and not a candle, how can he believe to say he found dope on me or I admitted that there was dope? So that was like, I mean, in textbooks, you should beat the case on that, but it's at the judge's
Mhm.
discretion. And given my prior, like I said, I have 4 dope cases. Like they're not gonna, it's not gonna happen. Like
Yeah, they weren't going to throw
so,
it out over
anyways,
that.
no, not at all. I'm her. I think I was her third adult trial. So we go up and we're sitting there, and the suppression hearing's about to start. They ask the cop if he has anything to say. So I'm sitting here with the lawyer. The cop's sitting there with the DA, and he looks over and he keeps shaking his head. He's looking at the paperwork, shaking his head, looking at the judge. And like they're saying everything. Do I understand what's going on? That I'm say able-minded, but like I'm not on drugs. I know everything. So the cop comes over to the lawyer, and he's like, "I'm gonna throw you a bone. I got shit to do. I don't got time for this today." He was like, "I'm gonna give him one chance, and we'll give him a plea. We'll waive the mandatories, and we'll give him the plea." So he said, "I'll waive the mandatories. We'll give him a 4. We'll drop the one case because the suppression issues are outrageous." He said, "But in another one, we'll give him a 4 to 8, um, and then a 1 year max out on his probation because when I got a case in Allegheny County, they gave him probation. So we'll max out his probation, close it out. We'll give him a 4 to 8 on dope case. We'll run him consecutive, so it'll be a 5 to 8." Or yeah, 5 to 9 with the probation violation.
Okay.
So Like I don't want it, but at this point, like I had a couple hours to process, and I've realized no matter what, I'm going to prison. Like I'm not going home at this point. Like I've accepted it. Like I'm not like I know what it's. I'm going to prison. Like there's no getting around it. Even if I don't go to trial, like I just knew what at this point I've pretty much said. So he said he's gonna waive the mandatory, so I accepted it.
Hmm.
So I go back to the jail, and everyone on the pod, like before I left, I gave away my FM radio, I gave away my pair of Timberlands, I gave away a bunch of shit, all my
Oh
commissary,
man.
everything, which was so I go back in, like everyone's like, "You going home?" Everyone's all hyped up. I'm like, I'm going to prison. Like when I tell you, everyone thought I was going home. Everyone. So I come back and they're like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like you're not like even the COs. Like there was the one CO I was cool with on there. Like he's like, "Yeah, right." I'm like, no, "I'm going to prison for real." Like I'm sick. So I go to my cell, hang my curtain up. I don't want to see hear from nobody. So it's that's like I get back, it's about 4 o'clock. So around 7 o'clock, they call my name, they're like, pack it up. And everyone's like, we knew you was going home. They're like, pack it up, you're going to 6F. And so then everyone believes me now
Okay.
because when you become a state inmate, you can't be on general population. Your clearance level higher, so you have to go up to the higher floor. So they take me up there, and I think I waited up there for like 5 days before they sent the bus to come get me. They come get me, take me to Western. I go to Western for quarantine. Then from quarantine, I go to Camp Hill. From Camp Hill, I sat there for like 2.5 months doing classification, answering all their questions. They send me to my home prison, SCI Rockview out in State College, like Bellefonte, PA, where Penn State plays ball.
Okay.
So they send me there, and like I mean, I wasn't scared. I was nervous just because my prison was like 72% lifers, like people that ain't never coming home. I went from fucking Beaver County Jail, which is a boys' home, to Allegheny County Jail, which wasn't serious, but it was worse than Beaver County. And now here I am in fucking prison, like I'm here with the real inmates. Um,
It's
so I
funny too,
go
because when you get up, like before you go to prison, I was a little nervous. It's because it's prison. And
right,
then
yeah,
once you get up there, you're like, oh shit, this is way better than doing time in the
oh
county.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's love compared to it for sure. There's so much more to do, like to occupy your mind. Like you're not just stuck in a pod. In Beaver County Jail, Allegheny County Jail, you're legit stuck in this room, this big ass room with fucking 70, 80 people. I think in Allegheny County there's
Hmm.
100. Beaver County is like 50. But you're stuck in there and you don't get no motion. Like you might go out, there's a hexagon basketball court. You can go out there and throw a basketball around. In Allegheny County, you go out, like their basketball court, it's not even outside. It's like there's a wall in the top that's open. There's like chain link fences. So it's like just like you're still inside of the building. You're just there's a wall that's open up. You can see out, you can see air. But so you
Yeah,
go
and they
from
bring all
that
the
to this
lunches
one.
to the pod, everything. There's no
Yeah, you don't
library
go
movement
nowhere.
anymore. ACJ.
Yep, nothing. If you go to NA
The-
or something, a lot of the pods, they NA comes onto the pod, you don't even leave. So like you're not going nowhere. So then you get to prison, it's wide open. Like Rockview, it's like one of the last prisons that are wide open. It's like a college camp. It's like a little community. There's the barbershop's in one building, the welding's in one, commissary, the library, everything's different. There's multiple yards. I think we had 3 baseball fields, like 8 basketball courts, bocce ball, shuffle puck, handball, and we had ice cream stands, pop stands. Like
yeah,
it's like
when I
life.
describe actual prison to people and like explain the yard, the sizes of the yard, and like all I hate
Right.
to use the word, but all the amenities in the yard. And then I was explaining the tickets. Because, bro, I'll tell you a funny little story. When I first got upstate, I
Uh,
started ordering commissary. And for people who don't know, there's these little tickets you can buy, go out to the yard in the shed, and you can either buy like a soda or a pint of ice cream. Well, I figured I'd buy some tickets, to have a soda and ice cream. Fucking, I haven't had one in a while. I'm going to enjoy myself. I accidentally
right.
ordered the maximum amount of tickets I could. And for that next like
Awesome.
6 months, I was eating ice cream like a fucking fat cat, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's love.
Doke de leche or whatever it's called. I love that shit.
Right. Yeah. It's like can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hold on one second. You can hear me?
I can barely hear you. I tell you what, if we're having some technical issues due to your ear pods, this it would be a good place to cut this off, and we can come back at another time for part two.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said if you're having some technical issues difficult due to your earbuds, this would be a great place. We could cut it off and come back at another time for part two. Because, bro, I didn't expect this to be as fascinating as it is, and like it's only the beginning of your story, and we're already an hour
Right.
in.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
You
Absolutely.
know, yeah, okay. So we're gonna conclude part one of Josh DeLay. Guys, he's a tattoo artist, by the way. I know we mentioned that. We didn't talk anything about that yet. His tattoo is a fascinating origin story in itself. I'm gonna throw a picture up of his shop if you are looking at the video. And I will say, before we cut this off, because I definitely want to do a part two in the future, because there's so much more to get to. Let the people know where they can find you, where they can book you, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm over in New Brighton, 904 3rd Avenue, New Brighton. It's if you know New Brighton, it's right across from Blue Marble, the Chinese restaurant. And actually, Brighton Barbershop actually just moved next door to me, so I'm right on 3rd Avenue, New Brighton. It's if it's nighttime, it's lit up like Christmas. Like you can't miss the shop. It's very visible. You can book me on. You can call my phone number is 724-650-0142, or you can get me on Facebook at Josh DLay'n Inc. DLay, or you get me on Instagram at DLay'n Inc. Tattoos, or you can go to www.DLay'n Inc. Either, and like I said, if you find me on Facebook too, you can go to my business page. It's DLay'n Inc. You can go on there. There's thousands of tattoos I've done. My work, it speaks for itself. I take a lot of
Yeah,
pride into it's I take a lot of pride in it. I treat every piece as if it's $1 million piece, whether it be a $20 tattoo or $1,000 tattoo. I treat it all the same. I put my all into it. It's my art, and I love it. I love everything about it.
yeah. If you guys are watching the video, I threw up some images of some of his work. It speaks for itself. I know multiple people who've gotten work done by him. Thank you very much, Josh, for coming in. Fascinating story. Guys, part two will be coming in the future. Thank you so much. If you're already listening still at this point, you already know where to find me. Peace and love, everybody.
Thank you for having me, man.